and went through all of the puberty that you can imagine. And there they are now as number 1 and number 2, who constantly switch with each other in Montreal. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the biggest rivalry in Quebec history that is going to explode. The explosive start that we wanted to see. This is Soar from MRG's Mirage versus Noodle Empire themselves. It is Smokk going at it again.
Yeah, I just love this matchup because of the backstory. I mean, Montreal has had amazing sibling duos. I can start counting them off the top of my head like that, but this is the one that, you know, have kind of ran Ultimate, that big rivalry like we were mentioning, and it's a pretty close one. I think for a majority of early Ultimate, I think Smokk kind of had Soar's number, and now I think it's reversed. I think, you know, especially ever since Soar picked up that Steve, Smokk had a big hump to get over. Steve is such a weird character. Smokk, I feel like, tried almost every character in the roster. Finally stuck to Palutena, worked for a little bit, and now it's that Aegis. And even Smokk has learned the matchup so well that he was able to beat other top-level Steve players in the world, like Quandale, like, I'm blanking on his name, but he just beat one of Shine.
The most recent
so
Steve,
sorry.
okay? The one that is really good, like all the other ones.
The one at Shine that got
Steve.
top 8.
Yes.
It was really close set. My point is, he has gotten so much better at the Steve matchup, and I am excited to see this.
Absolutely.
Wow.
One of the most storied rivalries here in Montreal, not just because of two great, excellent players, but because of that family dynamic. Two players that were not content to live in the shadows of their older siblings, making a name for themselves, getting them here to one of the biggest pots we've ever had. And one of these players is going to Winners Finals.
Jesus, Steve.
Absolutely. There's only one slot right now left for Winners Finals, and they're fighting all the way for it. But I was going to say Soar's looking very good right now, but Smokk put himself right the way back in, and there's very low resources in Soar's belt right now. You look at him, he's got 2 iron, 2 stone, does not have a lot to build a wall and be able to hide. He's got to tussle with the diamonds he's got in his hands for at least a little.
Absolutely, for sure. Definitely trying to find that space. Gets a little bit of those, of a little bit more resources. That was great. And a back air, too, catching the fact that Smokk has been going on that platform whenever he is trying to get comfortable and catches the get-up option. The neutral get-up was a bit further. Thought he was safe, but no. That little extended hitbox from that get-up. And now just continuously finding these jumps, understanding that each time Smokk has been in disadvantage, you know, he's going to go ahead and jump. So Soar been catching that and now just running over with this.
Yeah, this has been a crazy explosive start for Soar, almost getting that jab into out smash, those custom combos off those blocks.
Bruh.
What is happening? Oh my god, these setups on another down smash. Okay, this character's a Looney Tunes character coming from Minecraft, but oh my god. Might as well be multiverse this. Yeah, I heard you guys saying that yesterday too. That was hilarious, but
Biggest Looney Tune character. And as you mentioned before, obviously, he has struggled against Soar when the Steve has been brought out. Hasn't quite found the answer yet. The Pyra seems to be the best answer so far, as you mentioned, actually taking off sets off of other Steves across the world, but not quite Soar. Hasn't quite got the full download on him. Maybe some trades here and there, but not the answer.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what their set score is recently, but I think it's also the way that they play. I think especially Soar has been changing the way that he played recently. I feel like there was, I don't remember, I think it was a tournament in this exact venue where he definitely underperformed. And ever since that moment, I feel like whenever I see him on the sticks, he's a little bit more serious than he's been before. And he's always been serious, but I mean in a emotional way, not in a haha goofy way. I feel like not as much gets to him the same way it did before, and I think it's specifically because he does not want to underperform, and he does not want characters like Pyra and Mithra to be the character annoying him. He wants to play the player, not the character.
I think it really comes down to the fact that Soar, it was #1 on the last PR, right? That's a lot of pressure to put on someone to really maintain that. And when you have that pressure and that constant need of, I need to practice, it's a lot. There was also the period where Steve was very much banned from most events at a certain time, which is a big mental toll of like, I can't play my character, so why am I going to practice my character? And that made 50% of that practice time needing to go to other characters. So the Steve could not be as prominent as it could. But now that tournaments are now being more open to Steve in the future within the next year, it's a big opportunity here that has just kind of kindled this love for Smash that is coming for Soar. And he's not only just playing Smash, right? There's his love for Pokemon. He was just recently at the Pittsburgh Regionals, and he's also playing in Valorant. You don't want to forget that he comes from a very professional era of a Valorant player, I mean, being sponsored there as well. So he has a lot of experience, and because of that, you start to appreciate and value that life and that I guess that training that goes into it and your placement, but not really for like that pressure to like, hey, I need to be first, but just like, hey, I got here and I've already proven myself, and I'm now just going to enjoy it.
You've been kind of building up Soar in this matchup, right? And just how much he's improved and how much he's changed, right? And I just want to bring up Smokk. This is a really interesting.
Do.
We haven't talked about this all game, but Smokk on an entirely new character, Snake. I kind of get this pick. I mean, it's a little interesting to see because he's played the Aegis against other Steves, but Soar is really different in his Steve play compared to, I want to say, Quandale, where Quandale kind of came up playing Steve and he got good with Steve, right? So he kind of sees Smash Ultimate in that Steve lens, whereas Soar, coming from other games, other Smash titles, other characters, kind of likes to play Smash with a hint of Steve gimmicks, right? And I don't know if this is something, a playstyle thing that Smokk is going to figure. I don't really want to fight that aggressive Steve with Aegis. I'm not really used to it. I'm used to fighting the campier Snakes with Aegis, or sorry, the campier Steves with Aegis. Maybe he wants to slow down the pace of the game, and that's definitely something that Steve Snake would do in that matchup, right?
Well, that's the thing I really separates Soar from some of the other Steves, the ones that you mentioned that just pick up Steve and are seeing results. Soar's been playing forever, so it's nothing scarier now than a Steve with fundamentals. Yeah. And talking about actually the dynamic between these two players, again, we talked about the sibling rivalry, but of their own selves, they're two completely different characters. They're the yin and the yang. You do have Smokk, who's a very modest person, laid back, does his job, and doesn't brag about it. But you do have Soar with a bit of swagger. He has the cockiness.
He has the attitude.
He does have the emotion for sure. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse.
Oh, yeah, we working on that. You know, at home, we talk about it.
If you're cocky, but you can back it up, by all means, go for it.
Absolutely. Yes. I think one thing that I mentioned that I see
nasty.
One thing I want to mention a lot from this character switch, especially. I thought he was dead. I had to hold my breath for a second. Is that with this Snake, because he's able to threaten the safety from even a distance, we're seeing that Soar almost never has resources.
Yeah.
Look at him go.
What a statement.
Clean.
He minecarted into the grenade, and Smokk was ready. He placed it there for a reason, and I think that's why we didn't see that many minecarts. Just to start with, Soar is not much of a minecart Steve, I think. But even with that, the moment he minecarted, there was a trap there.
Oh, yeah.
Smokk was ready. He knew this is what was troublesome with Pyramithra. Snake had it in the bag.
Yeah, I think that it was really just the placement of those grenades that kind of forced Soar to be like, oh, I should be minecarting here, you know, just to get out of that. But, you know, definitely caught on to that. I feel like Smokk had such dominant performance at Shine, right? I mean, hey, 5th place. Amazing. And that is such a confidence booster, and you start to get noticed by top players. You play with top players, right? Even though there's not that same play style with the other Steves, that's a big opportunity to learn what can Steve possibly do if you do mix up these gameplay styles. He's able to use it, and now he understands that Snake is an option, because I feel like this entire time, the past year of figuring this character out, Smokk has never had that definitive answer, right? And now that he's beaten some of the top 5 Steves, his head says, no, this is the answer. I'm locking it in, I'm using it, and I'm putting the time into it to get Soar back and to get Snake on the map.
He's hovered Pyramithra. I was going to talk about the nitty-gritty of the Steve-Snake matchup. There's a lot of little details that maybe went over your head. One of the reasons why he didn't have a lot of materials is because at the beginning of the game, if you noticed, first thing Soar did, drop from the platform, use TNT. That wasn't going on the offensive. That wasn't the setup of trap of his own. It was to get rid of the dirt in his resources.
Oh, wow.
So how the TNT works is it will use the cheapest materials possible. It will use more dirt, obviously, than if he only has iron. But he is using the TNT to try to get rid of the dirt. Why get rid of the dirt, you might ask? One grenade blows up an entire dirt wall.
Yes.
That's why he is spamming blocks right now. So he's not going for the TNT approach. He just wants to get the dirt out of his inventory and start mining that cobblestone and those iron. Because those walls are going to be a lot thicker not going to blow up the grenade. That's why he's going to TNT and blow
Himself,
himself
apparently.
up.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, bro, because I gotta ask you.
Yeah.
Do you think, especially after the recent performance at SmashCon with the Pokemon trainer, do you think it is an option, especially of how bad of a matchup it is for Snake, that it might pop out here?
The Pokemon trick?
The Pokemon trainer. I know it's been locked in, kind of put away, but that Pokemon trainer came out on a reverse 3-0 against Chase. Not claiming it, but almost getting it. And I think that's a great counter against Snake. But looks like he might not even need it, so. But what do you think if that is an option or not?
I'm going to go ahead and say no. Because the PT Snake matchup, first off, Smokk has had such a good set record versus the PT. Second of all, the Snake PT matchup isn't as one-sided for PT as people might think, especially when the Snake is used to it.
It's probably not warm either.
Yeah, that too. That's another factor. But when the Snake knows how to deal with Squirtle with those down tilts, Snake has amazing, huge tilts that outrange Squirtle, right? So if the Snake knows how to fight a Squirtle, it is tough. But oh my God, this is a nail biter. I don't even think we need to see the PT. Steve Snake has given us a show already.
Well, I'd say we're already dealing with two characters that are both known not only for their amazing trapping tools, but even their tools up close. So basically, it says who's going to play that trapping game better.
Oh my God, it looked like he had it.
Yeah, right? It felt like
He's trying to choke to 160, doesn't need it, sets up with the back air instead. Bring it down to a one stock bound, but he's also one stock full down himself.
That bomb just completely countering. That grenade is super important when Steve has gold, because it makes like the potentially unreactable side B become really scary to use in the first place, because that nade is frame one. We can't be forgetting it. We say every time that we see a Snake on the screen, but it's true. Dude, double wall, not doing anything.
Yeah,
hello.
Pestering with the grenades right now, not able to get any material.
Yeah, could you imagine if that was dirt?
Yo, these
Shout
blocks
outs, bro.
cost resources, but these grenades, he's got infinite.
Yeah, definitely. And just like the presence, right? The stage control is just so good. But wow, what a reaction time from Smokk. Like understanding that you are coming to me, I'm gonna play baseball with you, man. I'm knocking you out, but no, goodbye to yourself. Out. Le sortie. It's that way. Take your leave, okay? The door. Thank you. Your time is up.
Straight down, even with those wooden tools. Also, I gotta beg the question, is it worth getting rid of the dirt? Because I feel like that's such a high-risk, high-reward strategy, right? I'm gonna be low on materials, but he's going quality over quantity. I'm wondering if that's the right play, but I feel like that is such a Soar thing to do, of just high risk, high reward. We're going for it.
Soar knows his worth. He doesn't deal with dirt. He's got to have that high material on deck.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, that's why I was like, you looking in his eyes. I'm not saying
The
that.
bowing.
That's cute.
Well played, well played.
But we were questioning whether or not we're going to see the PT, but Smokk also has a deep pool of characters.
Oh,
yeah.
And in the past, I think we have seen the Wolf not do very well in this matchup, so I doubt we'll see the Wolf.
We've seen the Roy too, but I don't think it's worked in this matchup.
No,
It's too volatile.
it's just not good. It's like using a butter knife to cut your steak, you know? It's not going to really
Steve does
get
eat a
too
steak,
much.
so.
It is really good, you know? Great protein, great
Well,
iron.
we got some big heavy hitter here right now. We had one of the best Swords characters. Honestly, a character that when came out almost invalidated any other Sword character in the game.
She's back. She's back. We saw her game one.
Taking the Hollow Bastion now. Polar, I know you know more about this than I do, but this is a stage that does give a little tricky nuances to Steve with the mining, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I believe there are two parts to this stage, the pink part and then the middle part. I'm going to be honest, I forget which one's which. One of them, I believe it's the middle, tends to give more iron, while the sides give more cobblestone. So
Hey, yo.
you do get to pick, oh my God. You do get to pick where you mine. Also, one thing I want to note is that diamonds, I forget the exact number, but diamonds aren't luck. A lot of people are like, oh, he got so lucky, he has 2 diamonds already. It's not a thing about luck. It's actually how many items he gets, right? So it's like, we'll say the 25th
like
item
30
is
or
always
40,
going
right?
to, yeah, or like, yeah, whatever number is always going to be a diamond. So what you can do, since both parts of the stage count, for like they both start from 0, is you can basically get both the 39, then go 40, get a diamond, 40, get a diamond, and get a double diamond.
Whoa!
Fun fact. So that's how it
Nasty.
works.
And I guess because the material that's bigger takes more to craft, right? You get dirt a lot faster than you would any other thing. So you'd actually take slower on this stage, no?
Yes, exactly. So you actually get a lot less materials. Again, it's a thing
Wow.
of quality over quantity. He's not going to have as many materials. If you look at the bottom of his bar,
Yeah, it's empty.
a few iron and a 1 or 2 stone to his name. but those are good materials compared to something you might get on FD
Right.
where you get a lot of dirt with that shovel.
And if you look under his bar, you'll see that he is at death percent when he's fighting Pyra and Mithra, because he might just get down it right here and explode just as well as the other way around. He's got to recover now.
Nice.
Now he's going all the way out there, knowing that Steve Soar specifically loves his blocks to refresh his jumps. And he caught him lacking. That was like a 2-frame window before his shield came out, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you saw it. I mean, and again, I feel like if we go back to the way this match even opened up, we saw Pyra, right? And we've been seeing Pyra most of this match, and that long sword on such a small stage like this. And even with the blocks, doesn't matter what you got, iron, metal, whatever it is. I mean, it's gonna go through those blocks. That sword is just so large, and it's gonna
What a
pierce
gentleman.
through it.
Made a platform for him to safely recover.
Aw,
Champion.
You know, that's actually
wow.
really
Even
funny.
camaraderie in this rivalry.
How to be a good boyfriend 101. Take
So
notes.
many times I've seen him do that just to forward smash your head. So
Yeah.
you feel so glad. You're like, yeah.
Let me help you not.
Nuh-uh.
Psych.
Long live the king. Okay?
There you go.
Some of the up throw that will be a kill throw. Steve definitely needed that for sure.
Also, one thing that's kind of interesting is we're opting, I think you mentioned it a little bit, Kels, we're seeing Smokk almost stay on Pyra, barely touching the Mithra, which is pretty interesting because usually, you know, in most matchups, you go Mithra neutral, Pyra an advantage to get your kills. Steve matchup's a little bit different because you kind of have that slow-paced, longer range, heavier hits in the neutral with Pyra. You could play that sort of playstyle, or the playstyle where you go Mithra, you're not getting any materials, I'm going to rush you down. Usually you could do a mix of the
Oh,
two, but
what
it looks
a-
like Smokk is opting to go for the big
Oh.
hits, and they are paying off, getting a little bit of a lead here.
But that's just it. Even in his match against Shine against the Steve, whose name we do not remember.
Just
the
Blue?
Twitch, just Blue? Maybe. Twitch chat was going crazy saying that why isn't Smokk switching, taking the Mithra to get that advantage save? He stuck with the Pyra the whole time and still wound up the winner. So he definitely knows something that knows he's going to win with the Pyra.
Yo, and Soar knows a couple things too, because those nails were looking clean, 62% off one interaction like that. And it's looking like Smokk does not have his pacing at all currently off stage.